This is turning out to be part 3 now. Unfortunately, YouTube is not being very friendly with us tonight. A few gremlins in the commentary box, but unfortunately keeps stopping the stream. But I mean, we're back now. Hopefully, we can go to at least half race distance on this stream. But yeah, apologies for the technical difficulties. But up front now, Warris Lander coming into the pit lane, and 14 laps on the mediums. That's more reasonable, as Maris again has unfortunately spun. It's a bit of a disaster for Maris this race. She's not going to be happy with this, but yeah, it's sometimes it is your race, sometimes it isn't. But more importantly, now we do of course have a new race leader, but that is more for the fact that he has made a pit stop for the Warris Lander, and you can just see the gap between himself and the front runners. Realistically, 8 seconds off. That is a very impressive first stint from him.
Yeah, he's almost back at the front, and it's a gap of 4 seconds, which is absolutely insane. I would not be surprised at all if we see the Warner getting promoted to Tier 1 before the halfway of the season, as Maris is unfortunately retired in the pits. This means that everyone who will finish the race will get points, as Mikey's gone off again. It's also going to be a long second half of the race for him. Yeah.
So Warris Landers, in fact, on just this out lap alone, he's about to be within DRS range, and I think he will make DRS range to DJ Madman. Of course, that's more understandable. I mean, we're talking about 15 lap old hards versus a fresh set, but that really shows you how strong his first stint, how well executed he put that together. And you can see the Mercedes struggling on traction. This move is going to get done and dusted well before the braking zone, and it is. So Warris Lander back already into the podium positioning, making an overtake on a 1 lap hard set. So that's a very good first stint for him. But now he's got the McLaren of Bruce and O'Stephen up ahead. But the important thing to mention now is I don't think Madman had DRS on the other two. Now he's going to come across the likes of the McLaren that will have DRS. So we know the tyre offset is key here, but will that be enough with a track that we know is so difficult to overtake? Will that be enough to try and get through on Bruce? I imagine so, but it could cause a little bit more trouble than you may think, as Ginger Tiger gets through ahead onto Spud there out of turn 5. Missed that, but he's gone through back up ahead. This fight between Sir Spud and Ginger Tiger going on, as now Warris Lander now gets through on Bruce. So that move has actually come way earlier than we expected, and that is crucial now because he can retake the lead on this lap, Bjorn.
Yeah, I mean, now he won't have to worry about being stuck in the DRS string, because now the car ahead won't have DRS. It should be a relatively easy overtake to get back into the lead. And you'd be surprised, but Stephen and Bruce still have to pit, and the person who's just pitted 2 laps ago is back in the lead, and we'll have to go back to the pit lane. So, I don't want to commentate curses, but I will say it, as that yesterday's fast lap. That I'm actually surprised the Warner said a new fast lap, at least I didn't see it. But I don't want to commentate it curse it, but it seems to be a wrap up for the Winander. So maybe I do hope I curse it, but I think that might sound a little bit biased, but trust me, I'm not. I'm just here for the entertainment.
Yeah, I think for the entertainment perspective, we would have anything. But of course, you know, we don't want any misfortune to any of the drivers. But yeah, let's leave it at that, as Clips Kiri gets through on his teammate. I assume that was an easier move and more of a strategic option. 4 lap old hards versus 17 lap olds. That would have probably been more of a strategic call. But what this will help is, though, is Sir Spud now is playing a perfect team game, because he's in a fight with Nitrogash. And look at that. He's really held Nitrogash up a lot here, to a point that I don't even think Nitrogash would have DRS on Clips Kiri. He wouldn't. So Nitro will get through on Sir Spud 100% into turn 1 with those tyres. Yeah, he would. but you might even have a move here. No, Sir Spud moves into the pit lane. But that's been an ultimate team game for Klipskiri to try and cruise down. Nitrogash will get DRS on this opportunity, but he is 2 seconds off Klipskiri as it stands. So that is a really good strategy call for Sir Spud to play a bit of a defensive role. I've also just seen in the chat from Simon Rudd, he's asking, is it War Islander or War Islander? I'll be frankly honest with you, I thought it was War Islander, but it could be either. We'll have to ask him, and hopefully we're not butchering the name, but we'll have to ask him and he'll have to give us a response for next week. But at the moment, go ahead, Bill.
I'm pretty confident it's the War Islander because he's actually a veteran of this league, and well, Jack knew his name from last week, so I am fairly confident it's the War Islander, but maybe we'll have to ask him just to be sure.
I'll be honest, I saw that first thinking it was War Islander, but I couldn't be sure. I thought potentially it was more Warris as his name and then Lander as, you know, it could be either, but hopefully we can. I'll stick with War Islander maybe, or I'm not sure. Either way works hopefully, as O'Steven shoots into the pits, and more importantly his teammate as well. They're double stacking at Mercedes. I think they're a bit too close. They are. That is not timed right for the Mercedes. It's fine for O'Steven, but Madman's going to take some heavy punishment from that. Where's he going to get fed out from? Is he going to be ahead of JPH? He won't be. No. He's lost out massively with this. Is he even going to be clear of the Red Bull? It's going to be tight. I think the Red Bull's hit ahead. He is. That has cost him a definite place there for Madman. That did not seem orchestrated at all down at Mercedes.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was at all. I'm not sure who came in unwarranted, but there'll have to be a debriefing down at the Mercedes team after the race. But now Madman has to make his way up again. He'll be frustrated with that for sure.
Yeah, that's taking a bit of pain now. I mean, we've got 15 laps to go. There's still plenty of time to go. You know, a late safety car even can throw something in, as now Mikey is the next of the stoppers. But the clearest point of action here, Ginger Tiger on Bruce. Bruce is going to hang on for these tyres for dear life. 20 lap old versus 7. That move should be done and dusted, and it is. Ginger Tiger gets into second place, and he'll take that for the Aston Martin cab. Further behind though, Nitrogash closing in on Klipskiri. So that is going to be an important one. So it's actually, more importantly, Nitrogash, he's done well. He was 2 seconds because of that team game with Sir Spud. He's done well to catch right back up. But the problem he might face is now is the moment he's caught up, Klipskiri is going to get DRS potentially from Bruce, as line of Greasby and O'Steven now having a little bit of a scrap. O'Steven going the wider line, the outside line, and he gets that move nicely done and dusted for him. He's up into P6. There's actually a move further up ahead. Klipskiri gets through on Bruce, so no waiting there for the DRS, and now that leaves Nitrogash right behind the McLaren. He's having a look on the outside, which turns to the inside, gets that move nicely done, does Nitrogash through into turn 11. That was important.
Yeah, Bruce is really struggling on those hard tires, but I'm not sure if that was the cleanest move. They had a little bit of a wheel bang and Bruce had to leave the track, and now he'll enter the pit lane. Maybe the Steels will have a look at that one. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see after the race.
Regardless, that was some entertaining racing for sure. But now Nitrogash, he's still within the DRS range, so he's done well to keep in that fight. Further behind though, who else? I think Ronan has an opportunity to take position on the Ferrari of Liner Greasby. Liner Greasby just shifting to the middle of the track. Ronan's going for it, but I think he's gone too deep. He has. He locks up both tyres, and that even sets one car through, maybe two. He might lose out to Sir Spud here. Spud is going to stay to the outside. He's got the position at the moment, but he should brake a little bit later. I think a little bit of contact actually from the front wing of Ronan, but he does get through for the Red Bull, and that has cost Ronan deeply, trying to go on 1 overtake, but he's lost out on 3. That's not going to help. But I admire the entertainment point of view to try and go for it, but it's not worked out. But he's still in this fight, right on the back of the Red Bull of Sir Spud here. But yeah, who else though is quite close? I'm going to go back to the front of the field because I know Nitro Gas is on the rear of Clipskiri there. Just look for a second, he even went into the back of the Red Bull. He's going now to the outside potentially. Is he going to go around the outside on this move here? Is he going to go for it? He's going for it now. He will get DRS as well to what a move! Nitro Gas gets through on the final corner, and because he's got the DRS from the detection point, he is well protected. And of course, if you haven't already knew this, you get double dosage of DRS from 1 detection point, which is basically before turn 14. So that's really going to have helped him. Now JPH at the back of the field, this is really turning out to be a big scrap. JPH on line of Greasby. The McLaren gets through, but further behind line of order potentially. Oh, the Alpine even having a little bit of scrap. But now the Ferrari of Liner Grisby was looking at Sir Spud, but now he's going to have to look on the outside of DJ Madman. DJ Madman's going to go for the move, and nicely done for the Mercedes. This is really turning out to be a good scrap. But I feel like the problem of this is a lot of tyres of different age and different compound is causing that. But hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah, the race had seemed to be cooled down a little bit a few laps ago, but now there's action everywhere. So it's great to see that we have a little bit of action back. Unfortunately, I break your excitement, Alex, but that move from Nitrogrash was due to Clipskiri having a little bit of technical difficulty. He should be back in the lobby now, and oh my god, I don't know if you saw that, but Sir Spud just had a fantastic save, but DJ Madman is still going down the inside. At turn 12 will it work? No, it won't. Sir Spud will stay ahead. Great racing once again by the Red Bull and the Mercedes.
I like how you're commentating on that whilst there's another battle going on behind. There's battles going on everywhere in this scrap here. It really is turning out to be quite good, but that's going to end a bit because Liner Greasby and Ronan into the pit. Oh, Liner Greasby's gotten a 10-second penalty. Here comes DJ Madman down into turn 1. He breaks late, but he gets the move done. What a move for the Mercedes driver, and through into P7. That's not going to be nice for Sir Spud to take in, but now he's got the McLaren of Bruce on the back. This is really turning out to be a really great scrap at the back end, or the midfield I should say, sorry, with the 2 pit stops. And actually I've just seen Bjorn, a soft tyre, Liner Greasby, so to shaking it up a little bit more potentially.
I mean, if I had to guess which team would have picked the soft at this stage in the race, I would have said Ferrari with a lot of confidence. So it is a gamble, and we'll see if it pays off. But I'm fairly certain it won't. We'll have to see and wait.
I think what they can do is, if it doesn't work here as a Ferrari off, is that Mikey? It is Mikey. I was going to say, if it doesn't work off the line of Greasby, they could do the same thing with Mikey here, but of course maybe 2-3 laps from the end, and he will score points, and he can score an extra one. So he's got nothing to lose, does Mikey? So I'm definitely betting on a Ferrari coming in the last 2-3 laps, and that being Mikey. Yes, at the front of the field, JPH and DJ Madman. Is that, sorry, DJ? Yes, it is DJ Madman. Oh, a bit of contact there. That's pushed JPH wide, but now the Red Bull goes through. Now it's a McLaren side by side. JPH has to back out. No risk between them two. But now look at this. Bruce is going alongside with Sir Spud. Who's going to be braver? It's going to be Sir Spud to back out, and Bruce taking the bravery going into turn 4 in front. Good little scrap. We missed it just a bit there, but that was a good scrap. This scrap is continuing on. These laps, and I'm all for it, but I feel like the reason why JPH has just dropped back a little bit is he is on the harder tyre, and his tyres are a few laps older. There's no doubt he should get to the end of this race, but I think at this stage in time he's going to be at least struggling more. I think as this stint goes on, then he's going to be reeled back into this, as Bruce goes very wide there. There's a yellow flag. Is that Mikey? I think that might be Mikey. Yeah, Mikey having a bit of a torrid time. And in fact, I think that's a McLaren coming into the pits. It is. JPH coming into the pits, and he could have gone to the end here. He's 17 seconds off the driver behind. He will come out behind, but by not much. Is it a soft? It's a medium. So he's taken potentially the loss on track position, but is he thinking maybe a fastest lap on the medium at this stage in the race, potentially, Bjorn?
Yeah, it could be, but I'm just wondering. I mean, I think who was DJ Madman and Jordan, I believe it was, that they did have contact twice. Maybe that took quite a big hit on the McLaren's tire wear. It's also a possibility, but we won't know.
I think what this game of F125 has shown is, more importantly, wheel spin and sliding and just even spinning 180 degrees. It absolutely thrashes your rear tires. It really does take punishment on this game, which it didn't use. It did a bit on the other games. Not to say they didn't, but I think they really stepped up on this iteration.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. I mean, even if you lock your tires, it will take a few percentages off your wear. As we see Bruce lurking down the inside of DJ Madman going into turn 1. It's not a relatively easy move. DJ Madman was looking for a switcheroo, but not to be, and that is the McLaren up into P6.
So nicely done for him as Ronan gets through ahead on Lionel Griesby, despite being on a soft tyre. So are the softs already losing its grip after 3 laps? We know they can handle 1 qualifying lap, but they still do have a decent amount of fuel on board. Are they struggling with the temperatures? And I'd imagine more pace from Lionel Griesby, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a disappointing performance so far, and it did not get the fastest lap. And that still belongs to the War Islander, who is, by the way, 24 seconds ahead. Yes, 24. That is Max Verstappen levels of dominance. That is actually insane.
It seems like we've just forgotten there's a race leader beyond Ginger Tiger to Mikey. It almost feels like we've just completely forgotten that there's a VCAB strolling around the track. We can confirm to you, ladies and gentlemen, yes, there is. Still just 25 seconds into the lead, which is just incredible. He's absolutely paced it out front. But, you know, you never know, really. A safety car in the last 2-3 laps can change it. I mean, 5 laps from the end, potentially, you could really reshift everything round. You never know with this sport, so that's the beauty of it. But at the moment, he is looking in prime positioning to take in the race win. But I'm not going to put any commentators' curses. Lionel Griesby's come in again after what would be 4 laps of soft tyres. So
yeah,
I didn't expect the softs, but I didn't expect the softs to go long by means of 10 laps. But I didn't expect them to be dead after 4. That's a surprise. I think that can explain why I said maybe JPH didn't pit for the softs. Maybe that would explain the right call and going to a medium for the remainder of the race. But that's certainly a surprise.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's I mean, it is a very, very technical track, and I assume with all these cars driving around, the track will be very, very hot. That might have something to do with it. Because in qualifying, you have a little bit of brakes, and that will also cool the track down a little. But if it's that big of a difference, I'm not sure. But we're not on track. We won't know what it's like for the softs and for the driver, of course, driving the softs. Unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, Warlander is absolutely insane. 28.5 seconds. Surely he has to go to tier 1 with pace like this. Sure.
Well, remember, Bjorn, we're both racing in tier 1. If he's faster than us, then I disagree. We don't want him in front of us. As Ken Ken in the chat saying, "What in the sandbagger?" No, he's just pulled out some incredible pace here tonight. But it must be said, he's just been absolutely clean and clinical. It's quieting down a bit here, Bjorn. So I'll ask you. You've got the weather radar. The only reason why I ask this is at this point in time of the race last night for Tier 1 is when we had rain. Any rain potentially? Doesn't look like it. Any rain? You never know in this game. Last lap potentially clouds can come in. Is it looking clear to the end?
Well, I can tell you the weather forecast is forecasting to me to go later this afternoon to a nice cafe in Budapest. It is looking to be clear and sunny in about 15 minutes. No rain expected.
Oh well, you won't see me next week. I'll be having a coffee in Budapest then, having a nice little holiday. But yeah, I think at the moment on track, closest battle. Two Aston Martin boys, 7/10 separate the likes of Ginger Tiger and Nitro Gash. What do they do here? They've got a nice comfortable cushion. Well, I wouldn't say it's too comfortable, but it's decent enough between Nitro Gash and Klipskiri of 2.5 seconds, 2.7. They can give each other a little squabble, but I wouldn't exactly say to a point that is worth risking when they're only 2.6 ahead of the Red Bull.
If I was be able to talk to these drivers right now, I'd say, I mean, they're creating a gap between Klipskiri. I'd say, yeah, just keep in mind we don't want to have contact, but let's go racing. I think they can race all they want because, well, the only overtaking spot you're going to get is on the straights, and that won't make you lose too much time. And while they're creating a comfortable gap to the Red Bull behind, so why not?
I think they can definitely alternate. One lap they try and give it a little, one lap they switch around. The car in front pushes on, drags the other car, the car behind recharges the battery. They can push each other along here. It's just whether they are going to try and help each other, or they're going to say, you know what, let's give the stream a nice end and bring some entertainment back in. But no, we've had some amazing entertainment, but it's just quieting down now. The gap's opening up all around the field. But actually saying that, the gap now with Klipskiri 2.4, 2.3. It goes to 3 seconds down the straight, and that's more because obviously Klipskiri isn't getting DRS dosage. But in the technical corners, he is actually gaining. Yeah,
you're right. I'm just taking a look at the lap times. I want to see if he is gaining. Klipskiri. He seems to be gaining quite a amount of time. It's a few tenths here and there, and then he loses a tenth the other lap. So, but overall, the Red Bull is slowly gaining on the Aston Martin. So I kind of want to take back what I've said about having a little fight. If they make just one small mistake here, Klipskiri will be right at the back of them. So it might get very close at the end here.
But you could see the gap just fluctuating. 2.2 now, 2.1. As well, bear in mind, Nitro Gash is getting a helping hand of DRS, but then you could argue, well, he's getting derriere in the technical section. But without that DRS, how much more would Klipskiri gain? That's one thing. But another is, I see Nitro Gash. He looks to have more pace at this stage. He only begins to drop because more of that derriere, hits the second of the Aston Martin. But if he's close enough, I would switch the cars round, because you can see now the gap 1.8, 1.9. Now he'll lose out on the DRS, but he is gaining. He is catching. I think Aston Martin now can't fall asleep too much here. Now, what they could argue is, well, he's not going to get an overtake on Nitro because Nitro is already getting DRS from Ginger. But I wouldn't be so sure to be as comfortable as saying, well, let's give each other a little bit of a scrap now. I think now they need to really be careful. They've only got what would be 2 laps when we cross the line. But, a simple lockup, a simple snap, or even a track limit warning can can completely change the outcome. And these are for the podium positionings as well, don't forget that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It is for crucial positions, for crucial points, but this time around it seems to be losing a little bit of time. 2.7 now. So we do not have long to go, but this is what you're talking about. Nitrogas almost loses it. Exiting turn 11 it is, and now he's locking up. Should cost him some time, but it doesn't seem to be. So maybe it's just the tires for every party involved here wearing off.
Yeah, it's 2.8 seems to be. I mean, with 2 laps to go, as long as nothing now goes wrong, I think Aston Martin have this sorted. As I think now, just the gap fluctuating 2/10, 3/10, then it opens back up. I think, are they making a switch potentially here? It's very close. I'm currently having a look now. The closest battle on board with Ronan and Sir Spud. Ronan on significantly fresher tyres, 5 lap younger. And he's going to surely make this move done and dusted, and he does so into it. But actually, Sir Spud just going to brake a little bit late to try and keep that fight going on. But I think he's going to have to yield. But more importantly, we haven't talked about it much, but the penalty situation. Only 2 drivers actually on penalty, so we've done pretty well tonight. But 3 seconds for Ronan, and Mikey is, I think, more worse. Mikey having another incident there, and it really has not been a night for Mikey to remember. Oh, the Ferrari in the background line agrees me. He's giving us a little bit of some rallying or some drifting, you should say, but that was a bit close for comfort. But I think, yeah, it's not been a night to remember for the Ferrari boys, but they're still going to score points. That's the important thing. But now the closest battle actually is JPH making that pit stop. I didn't think he needed to make a pit stop, to be honest, but now he has done, and he's got an amazing opportunity now onto the straight into turn 1 to get Sir Spud.
Yeah, it's just looking nice. You guys could not get the overtake for second place. We're on the final lap. Warner's he is in sector 3 now, so I'll let you do the ending.
Yeah, this is absolutely incredible. We've not talked about War Island. As we'll quickly just have a look. That move done and dusted for JPH. But there's been one man at the field that we've not talked about much, unfortunately, and that's just simply because of how brilliant the driver's been. War Islander takes win number 2. It's 2 out of 2 for him, and he takes victory around the Hungaroring, and by quite some margin. But I can't believe I'm going to have to give still quite a wait for the podium finishes of Ginger Tiger and Nitro Gash. It's just been such an incredible drive from War Islander that we're having to still watch a battle for a good 41 seconds afterwards. But no, the Aston Martin pairing, though, again, they're showing strong here as a team, that they can really score some good points, and they can really take the fight for the constructors as Ginger Tiger and Nitro Gash cross over the line to take 2nd and 3rd, with Klipskiri in 4th. Following that behind, quite close, Stephen and Bruce separated by just a matter of 4 tenths. And then the Mercedes of DJ Madman, he'll finish in P7 with Ronan coming across the line. He does have a 3-second time penalty. Will he be able to hold off JPH? He's 3.3 at the moment. No, JPH can't get the position. Just 2 tenths shy. And so Spud finishes the finishing order. Of course, Line agrees me and Mikey actually had completed their race, as they were already lapped from the War Islander, so that's why we didn't get to see them cross the line. But, sorry, Bill, didn't really get you speaking there at the end. But no, this man up here, War Islander, I think what he's shown already in this tier is some incredible pace.
Yeah, no doubt. Dutchman on top, just like last week, and I believe just like last week as well. You're the same colours, at least on the podium too. Aston Martin's again being the deadly duo they are, right there with them on the podium at least. On track it was 40 seconds. It was a 40-second gap. I'm just wondering. I'm not sure if we didn't catch it, but I think Sir Spud might have made a mistake during the last lap, or the second to last lap, because I thought he was ninth because Ronan just overtook him. But he finished in 10th, 3.5 seconds behind Jordan. So
yeah, well, he said tyres had gone at the end. I'll give a quick rundown. So War Islander finishes top position with Ginger Tiger, Nitro, P2, P3 with Clips, Kiri, O Steven and Bruce, followed by Madman, Ronin, JPH with Sir Spud, Lionel Greasby and Mikey for the final points positioning, and unfortunately we lost Maras early on, so she will not score any points unfortunately. And the drivers of the day, race winner no doubt, War Islander absolutely cruising out front and the fastest lap going to him, and JPH, or as some of you may actually even know, Jordan, taking driver of the day and most overtakes, where cleanest driver going to Ginger Tiger. But yeah, that's it, done and dusted for round 2 of the Hungary Ring. But yeah, we it's incredible how we just completely forgotten about out front with War Islander, because it's just been action everywhere around. He's just pulled the pace down and just absolutely gone on with it.
yeah, incredible pace. I mean, I'm sure the Invictus Racing League directors will have a talk with him this week to see if he's available to race in Tier 1. Because I'm quite confident he's so quick they don't want him anymore in Tier 2. So you might see a promotion this week. So we'll have to wait to see until the next round, which is, by the way, at Austria Reverse, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, yes.
Yeah, that is a phenomenal track to have a league race at. There's going to be plenty of action there, so make sure you tune in. But I just want to ask you, who's your driver of the day besides Islander?
You know, when Jack was back in the commentary box, I absolutely hated the questions like these are predictions of driver of the day, but you're still not giving me an easy time with it. I'm going to go very underrated with this. I'm going to say Klipskiri. I think Klipskiri was quiet in that race, but bringing it to P4, I think was a quiet but really solid race from him. I was having a look on quite a few of his action on boards as well. I think Klipskiri really had a solid race, honestly speaking. But there's no doubt, of course, the driver of the day besides Klipskiri would be War Islander. I think with that drive, I think you can't get any more perfect than that, really.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I'll pose the same question to you now as well. Who is your driver of the day, Bjorn?
Well, I was going to originally pick Klipskiri as well. If his disconnect, you can't forget the pit lane overtake, of course. But just to pick someone else, I'm going to say Bruce. He's been underrated, finished P6, mind you. That's a strong performance from the McLaren of the round. I can't seem to find anything wrong with his drive today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He was in some good fights as well. Don't forget, there was some great action. I think there was really some great action going on behind the podium positions. Clips, O'Steve and Bruce, Madman, even Ronin and JPH, even to Spud. There was some really good action going on behind. So no, it was nice to see no real major incidents. I think the stewards will have a happier time again this week round. But yeah, no, it was some great action in the midfield. But as you said, Bjorn, next week we go over to Spielberg, but not the typical Spielberg Reverse. And in fact, this is actually a first for IRL's history for a reverse Spielberg, because we didn't run it last season. So it'll definitely shake up and be quite unpredictable, it must be said. For a track like that. But I did want to ask one question about that. Spielberg, the setup to it is typically you need a decent amount of downforce, but you really need a straight line speed car. You need to have that rear wing as skinny as you can, but giving you enough downforce in the important corners. But I wanted to ask, with the setup, how much would the setup change from the what would be the original Spielberg compared to the Spielberg reverse? Because of course the flow of corners somewhat changed going in the other way around.
Yeah, I actually think it's gonna be a lot more downforce heavy than Spielberg. That is the right way. Um, I think you're gonna need more rear wing than front wing because you have a lot of long corners where it's really easy for the rear to step out. But I must say, I've only driven the track like for 5 laps in an open lobby, so I'm just trying to think. But it's gonna be, it's gonna. I think a lot of people are going to go in blind, which I'm happy. It's just gonna mean there's gonna be a lot of action, and I can't wait personally.
Yeah, without doubt, I think that's really going to shake things up. And of course, never forget the weather in the Austrian Alps. We know notoriously that the weather can just change from one moment to another, and there's pretty high chance of rain in the quali or even the race. So no, that'll really throw some unpredictability going into it. But nevertheless, it's been quite an evening, and no, we'll head over to the Austrian Alps next week. But of course, first join us for the Tier 1 race on Monday. That'll be 8 p.m, of course. Myself and Bjorn will be racing, and that will be led by Jack. Should be led by Jack. And potentially the likes of DJ Madman and Maris for next week round. But from us in the commentary box, all we can say is thank you very much for joining us. Of course, apologies for the technical issues. And unfortunately, we are unsure to why the stream kept ending on us. Not much we could have done, but we just tried to work with what we could. But hopefully we can get those sorted out for next week. But from myself, it's thank you very much. And from Bjorn?
Yeah, thank you very much as well, and hopefully see you next week.